I think for most of us, it's pretty commonplace. You just drive around neighborhoods to know that when it comes to any type of addition, any type of new structure, that you're going to want some type of like exterior siding or cladding installed to protect it from the weather, right? Whether or not that's like lap siding, T111, vinyl, board and bat. It could be like a cementitious material like hardy plank type material that's built out of like cement type board. It could be LP, which would be like laminated and compressed manufactured type lap siding. There's all kind of brick. I mean, it goes, there's all types of it. It just has to be what they call a weather resistant material. Okay. And so I think we all kind of have a general idea that we have to do something for a siding on there. But I want to make sure that I dive into just a little bit of the components on it, the assembly of it. And when I say assembly, I'm talking about the whole wall as a system, right? So you have drywall on the inside or some type of interior sheathing on the inside, right? A finish. And then you've got insulation, you've got the stud framing, and then you've got your sheathing on the outside, and then you've got like a building wrap, and then you've got your exterior siding. Okay, so that'd be like the assembly. But when we talk about exterior coverings, how does all that assembly work kind of between the studs and the exterior siding, right? How does that kind of come together? Code is going to tell you that you need to make sure that it's weather resistant envelope. So the envelope in itself is weather resistant. So you're not only protecting against water, you're protecting against wind, you're protecting against termites, critters, right? You want to keep everything protected. You want to keep that assembly protected from things getting in and out of it. And that goes for energy as well. You know, if you don't want to pay for your heat or your cooling to find its way out through little cracks and crevices in your walls, you want to make sure it's nice and tight and clean. So I'm going to start off by just going through a bunch of pictures, and then I'll just touch a little bit on the code to kind of have an idea what it is that I'm talking about. But pretty straightforward type stuff, right? I mean, most people, I think, have seen building wrapped around. You probably heard the term maybe Tyvek building wrap. So here they've just installed building wrap over their sheeting, right? And they made sure to lap it correctly. So you do the bottom first and then the top so that everything flows down in case water ever gets in there. When it comes to flashings, okay, so you got a roof to wall flashing. You're going to want to make sure that you run this flashing and then you're going to side over the top of it. So that'd be like counter flashing it. One of the biggest parts that I catch is this little piece right here. So you have a transition from the end of a roof into siding. So this will get building wrapped and then siding will be put up here. If you get water could run down right along here and go right behind the siding unless you remember to put this little kicker wherever you bend your flashing, bend your roof to wall flashing so that anything that comes down will hit and come off the roof. And the siding would then just side around this and over, and they'd flash over the top of that or side over the top of that, and then it would be sealed. You might put a little bit of caulk in there, some type of sealant just to keep critters or any other little things out of there, to seal it up really nice. You're going to end up putting up like some type of a sheathing, right? So you're going to have maybe an OSB sheathing. Maybe you're going to have plywood sheathing, or maybe you're using just like a T111, right? This is what we call T111, and that actually is the sheathing and the siding all in one. It's probably the most cost effective in our area. I assume that it's used throughout the United States. And you don't have to put up sheathing. You just put up your building wrap right on your studs, and then you put up your T111, and you've met the requirement for the sheathing, and you've met the requirement for your water resistant barrier, your envelope, right? That gets painted, it gets flashed, and it's done. You just make sure you install it per your installation instructions from your manufacturer. Same would be true for any other siding, right? I wouldn't want you to lose your warranty because you didn't caulk specific areas or provide enough spacing between laps or something like that. Just make sure you install it per your manufacturer's installation instructions. Here they've got board and bat. Here they've got like this looks like a cement board lap siding. It's got it. They have it all caulked in. They've flashed over their windows, right? So it's all about that weather resistant barrier, right? So exterior coverings, making sure that you have not only the building wrap in case you get penetration through the siding, right? It's a water resistant barrier, but you're also wind resistant, right? You're making sure that whatever you put in there is providing you with good wind resistance so you don't get a lot of penetration through cracks and crevices. Here's more like, cement board, hardy board. Here would be like vinyl siding, right? Vinyl is pretty big because it's low maintenance, right? You put it up, everything gets flashed properly, and it is good weather resistant barrier, and you just hose it off a couple times a year and it looks really good. Here we can see the transition between T111 and like this looks like what they call LP, would be like a laminated product where they've compressed it. It's like a manufactured product. It's wood. Looks like could be cement board type material too, but I'm pretty sure this is LP. But here they had sheathing here, and then here they just have the T111, which would be back to this picture right here, right? So this might be lap siding, and this would just be the T111. So just make sure you get whatever material you're going to use for your sheathing. You get it put on, right? Go back to just that assembly component of it, right? It's drywall, it's our stud framing, it's our insulation, and then it's our building wrap, right? That's our water resistive barrier. And then we get our whatever our exterior cladding or siding is, right? Whatever that is that you choose, okay? Again, make sure you install it per your manufacturer's installation instructions, and then you should be good to go as far as meeting the requirements for an exterior covering. Sometimes it might ask you for maybe it's required to be painted, maybe it's not, right? I mean, most people paint their house, but maybe there's an instance where you don't need to. When you get into bricks or concrete or something like that, you don't have to necessarily put up a building wrap. That whole thing is going to be water resistant and wind resistant. It's going to meet the requirements if it's installed properly. Now, what about other materials? What if you're putting up like foam insulation or something around the house? Maybe you want a little extra R value, and it's already got like a foil back on it. Maybe you can just go and tape the seams. It's nice and clean. You've installed it nicely. You don't need a building wrap. Maybe that meets the requirement. Or nowadays they have like plywood that actually has a spray on it that meets the water resistant barrier requirement. Does not require a building wrap. They just go in there and they tape the seams with an approved tape. I don't think duct tape is one of them, but whatever that requirement is, they would tape those seams, and boom, they have that resistant barrier. They put their siding up and they're done. They're good. So it depends on the material that you're using. Let's dive back. Let's look at code a little bit, just so you kind of know where I'm pulling my materials from. So here we have exterior coverings. Says exterior wall shall provide the building with a weather-resistant exterior wall envelope. The exterior wall envelope shall include flashings. So that's kind of what I talked about. You want to make sure you get all your flashings in there, and you're taking into account if water or snow or whatever was to end up on this roof and it was going to melt and it was going to run off, it's not getting behind my siding. Where are most of those situations? It's going to be at windows, doors, and at those roof to wall transitions, right? So you need to make sure you get those flashed really well. Get your window tape up around the windows and the doors. Get your building wrap up. Make sure everything flows down. So if water ever gets in there, it can find its way down and out. I think you should be covered. I think you'll be just fine. So it says exterior wall envelope shall be designed and constructed in a manner that prevents the accumulation of water within a wall assembly by providing a water resistant barrier. There's your Tyvek building wrap behind the exterior cladding as required by section R7032, and a means of draining to the exterior water that penetrates the exterior cladding. Just means that's, install it so everything flows down, it'd go down and out, and it'd fall out, between the two, the siding and the building wrap. and you should be fine. Hopefully water never gets in there and it's a non-issue, right? Let's see here. So they're just making sure that it's wind resistant. So it's just applied so that it will not bend or rupture or break in case of high winds, right? So you just install it per manufacturer's installation instructions. Take into account fasteners, you know. As a homeowner, sometimes you just go to the store and buy whatever you see there. But think about, okay, well, what size nail do I need? What size screw do I need? Does it have to be a certain like thickness? Does the head on it have to be big enough? You know, for like siding or roofing, right? They use like a bigger head nail versus maybe like a framing nail or a finish nail. So take that into account when you're thinking about all components within your project, right? Just make sure you're using the proper fasteners. Here they're talking about the different types of water resistant barriers. So one thing I didn't mention is you know, back in the day, they used to just use felt, asphalt felt, like roofing felt. So here they're telling you can still do it. One layer of 15-pound asphalt felt, free from holes and breaks, applied per complying with the ASTM, and then you just want it to flow down, right? Here they're having the lower layer not less than 2 inches, so they're lapping it. They're asking you to requiring you to lap it by 2 inches minimum. You know, that's pretty straightforward. If you want to use that, you just install it around the house. You do the lower layer first, 2-inch overlap, and you just wrap it around the house, staple it off. Again, you've met that requirement. That's something you could do if you've got a bunch of that laying around your house. Maybe you redid your roof. You should be covered. So when it comes to exterior coverings, I mean, I think everybody knows you're going to put up some type of siding. You know, you're not going to leave plywood to rot or OSB or something like that to just get beat up by the weather, right? So just, you know, follow kind of typical installation, especially for homeowners. Keep it simple. Put your building wrap up, wrap around your windows, get your flashings on there, and then just put up whatever siding that you're really excited about, and that'll look good, make your house look awesome, make your addition look awesome in your garage, and get it painted up, and I think you'll enjoy it.